Today we're going to be making the beef tacos. We're going to start by sauteing some garlic and onions in the 2 pots that I have here on the stove. So this is just vegetable oil that I'm going to put in both pans here. And then this is fresh chopped garlic. So I'm just sauteing the garlic a little bit first, just to get the raw flavor out of the garlic. It sweetens up the garlic by sauteing it. So that's kind of what I'm going for. And it's okay if you get a little bit of brown, but as you see the garlic browning, to stop the browning, you can add more ingredients to the pan. So in this case, we're adding onions, and that'll stop the garlic from browning. The recipe is going to be a little bit different than what the recipe for 100, because we're actually making 150. So we increased the ingredients a little bit. So I chopped 6 onions instead of 4 onions. So here we just want to let the onions sort of sweeten up and become kind of translucent as we cook them. And at this point I'm turning up the heat a little bit. So now that the onions have become sort of soft and translucent, we can go ahead and add the beef. So I'm just going to add 10 pounds of beef to each pan. And this is just regular ground beef. Again, this is a change to the recipe a little bit, in that the recipe actually calls for beef crumbles, which are just pre-cooked ground beef, which is often the product that they're using in the cafeterias. But here at the Boys and Girls Club, they just get fresh ground beef, so that's what we're using. So we increase the amount of beef that goes into the recipe to account for the shrinkage that you'll get when you cook the beef down. So now that we have the beef in the pan, it's just a matter of breaking it up so you'll get that sort of crumb texture that'll be able to spoon onto each one of the tacos. Since we're using the fresh ground beef with this recipe, the ground beef as it cooks down will produce a lot of fat. So in order to make the recipe healthier and take the saturated fat out of the recipe, or at least some of it, we're going to drain off the beef, and it'll drain the fat into the pan below. Since we drained off all the fat, now we can turn the pan on and add all the rest of the ingredients. We're going to add basically some tomato paste and spices. So I'm going to add half the tomato paste to this one pan here. And then in terms of spices, we have some cumin, chili powder, garlic powder. And the recipe says you can also use onion powder for the garlic powder. So it really depends on just what you have. There's a little bit of salt as well. And then the last one is some paprika. Once you get all that stuff in there, you just want to mix it up. And then once we mix it, we can also add a little bit of water to it. Now we're just transferring this into the into a hotel pan so that we can hold it warm in the oven while we prepare the other ingredients for the tacos. So first we're just going to put the beef mixture down, and we're going to top it with a little bit of the grated cheese. And then we're going to put some of the chopped romaine lettuce on it. And you could also use iceberg on the lettuce. And then a little bit of salsa. And then just a tiny bit of cilantro right on top.